Black Friday sale is this week. All week long on the Barbell Brigade IG, we've been posting our biggest deals. Down to the item, down to the size. For example, this jacket, we have a ton of them in medium, so they're 50% off, so you don't wanna miss that. Make sure you follow Barbell Brigade on IG leading up to Black Friday, which is November 24th at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. This is our biggest sale of the year, so you don't wanna miss out.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the world-renowned Barbell Brigade Show. I'm your host, Bar Quizon, and I'm here with the one and only The Dream from Eastern San Francisco, Western South Bay, North Fremont, Nadim, and
I'm with
your favorite.
Sound Mike.
Okay, hot take.
Hot take. What's the hot take?
It's probably gonna get me canceled.
Good. That's a real hot take.
No, that's good. Throw us on Reddit and like let that shit go viral, upvote it or whatever you do over there, you little gremlins, you little Reddit gremlins.
Are you guys ready?
Yeah.
You're not?
I am.
You ready? Sumo is harder than conventional.
In what way?
There's a lot more technique involved. There's a lot more leeway to being able to get the lift off the floor and keep it in its path to missing it. You have to have the mobility for it. Not everyone can sumo, but everyone can conventional right off the bat.
Sumo is harder for me. I can tell you that much.
So, I think what we need to dive into is something being technically or motor pattern wise or mechanically more difficult or harder rather than being can also be more efficient.
Oh, you make it so boring, dude. Say you agree or disagree.
It's harder to perform.
It's harder to perform.
So what is that? Is that agree or disagree?
That's an agree.
Okay. Now go into
Okay,
what
so
you're talking about.
you agree? Do you agree?
Yeah, I brought it up.
Okay, so you agree? You
agree?
I just said it's harder for me.
Do you lift more weights, sumo?
So we all agree.
Not even. But you don't even lift more weights, sumo.
Well, so here's the thing. I've tried really hard sumo, and I've done a lot of experiments on myself. I like to be a guinea pig. And what I've realized is, and this is gonna be boring, I'm more mechanically efficient at conventional. So, for example, when I hit a 5 rep max, when I hit 495 for sumo for 5, my top single is 545. On conventional, I only need to hit 495 for 3. So in terms of volume, if I need to accumulate volume, my sumo is very technical, it's very efficient, and so I can do a lot of work, but as soon as I need to bump it up into a single, it's not so efficient.
Do you think your programming could fix that?
Maybe, but I've pulled 405 for 20 sumo, like it was nothing,
Yeah.
right? I've never pulled 405 for 20 conventional. I'd probably pull 700 or something. You know what I mean?
So what's your science-based view?
That I would agree. Like it could be more efficient, meaning that you're better at it.
Like I'm more mechanically efficient in the rep realm, but when it came to
that might be a
peaking
programming thing though.
and for single wise,
Yeah, that might be a programming thing, and also might be a musculature thing. That it doesn't mean like, because if you clickbait it and you go out there with all, what's the guy with the cardboard, and you say sumo's harder, people think that you mean by moving less weight.
What?
You with me?
sumo's harder. I think most people think sumo's easier.
Right, but what they're talking about is how much load you move, not how difficult it is to do correctly.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Those are totally
Yeah, the
different
amount
things.
that's gonna get up.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So what are you stronger at, which you can move more efficiently, more load, and what is technically, mentally, physically more difficult or easier to achieve optimal skill are two different things.
Yeah.
They're two different things,
Right,
but I
when
think
people say-
see an 800-pound pull, they discredit it because they're like,
They're like,
oh,
sumo's
sumo's
cheating."
cheating.
Right, they think it's easier.
Yeah.
Easier to move more weight. I don't think they're arguing it's easier to perform. That
I don't think
less
they know.
goes into
I don't
it.
think they know.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
Anyone that says that's ignorant, yes.
Yeah. I don't
we
think they
threw
think
them
on
out the
that
door.
side.
But what I'm saying, when you say harder or easier, it can mean multiple things.
Yeah.
Right?
It's
Yeah.
like watching someone do a backflip on a trampoline. They're like, oh, that's cheating.
Right.
But backflips regardless are hard.
Yeah. I think in terms of if you're going to consider something cheating, it has to have an advantage to you immediately as well. So if someone says sumo is cheating, but then you're like, okay, go max out on both, and they'll really realize how hard it is to actually pick it up. I think across the board,
that's good.
Everyone will fail if their first time deadlifting and maxing out and they've never done sumo. They won't be able to pull out sumo as much, even if it's a better movement for them in the long run.
Except for the few that are really good athletes and just hop into a good position. I agree with you.
Yeah. So for most people, they're just gonna fail because it's actually very awkward. It's very hard movement.
Well, and along those lines, it's a lot of times. I don't want to speak for every high level coach out there, but most high level coaches out there have their sumo deadlifters do conventional in the off season or even during a block. Why aren't conventional guys doing sumo?
Maybe there's not as much carryover.
Why is that?
Well, because one is, so for a sumo, if we're going to be nerdy about it.
No, I'm getting nerdy. Yeah.
Okay, so for sumo, I think what makes it powerful is the ability to exert forces laterally and also vertically, right?
A little bit, yeah. You're extending the quads, extending the hips at the same time, yeah.
So when you're doing conventional, you're strengthening the vertical part of it. So that's one of the key components in sumo. Versus in the conventional, you're never exerting force laterally. So if you practice exerting force laterally, or like even like, what is it, Cossack squats or whatever the fuck they're called, that's not going to help conventional because it's not one of the force vectors in conventional.
Yeah, so I think, yes, you're right, but I'll dumb it down half a step, is that if you're more efficient or it takes more mental or physical skill to perform a sumo, why would we waste time, energy on being more efficient at a lift when our goal is actually to gain strength and gain fatigue and not be efficient in a sense?
I don't know what the fuck
I don't
you
know
just
what
said.
you say. Put it in Fortnite terms.
Oh.
You just said if
it
the
takes
air
more,
is not in the balloon and the balloon is not about the air or some bullshit.
Sumo takes more mental and physical energy, which I think we all agree upon, because it's more technically difficult.
You got 10 cues you got to worry about, yeah.
So why are we going to go over there to just maybe be more efficient only at sumo to move more weight? And efficient means kind of what you were talking about. Oh, I could do 405 for 10 easier on sumo, but I'm not getting stronger. I'm actually just more efficient at it. My levers are better, right? The power chain is all easy. When conventional is more brute strength, arguably, and just pure hip extension, even though you're using quads and other things involved, that gets you generally more strong, right? So why would we train that to help getting generally more strong? We don't. Which goes back to the original point that sumo may be more skilled and difficult, but once you're there or have achieved it, it is easier to move higher loads.
I get you.
If you can achieve it. And the argument in perspective or to zoom into powerlifting is how many people can achieve that and is it everyone? If everyone can achieve it easier, then we probably shouldn't boot it out either, right? If it was actually easier and everyone could do it, then why would we boot it out? Right? Because everyone's on the even playing field. There's no good argument to take sumo out.
Would you say the equivalent is almost like, I guess maybe for bench, right? It's very difficult to have high arch and bench wide.
Yeah.
But if you can get to that point, then it becomes easier and you can do probably hella reps.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, it's probably similar.
Because now you're way more efficient at the bench.
Except for, I think, for multiple reasons, but benching in multiple grips, regardless of your comp style bench, is probably beneficial.
When I'm saying sumo is not cheating and sumo is harder to master than conventional, I'm also saying sumo is not more impressive than conventional. So if someone pulls 800 conventional or sumo, they are both impressive, right?
And you throw them in the exact same equal impressive for you?
I would, right?
You?
So like if Dan Griggs pulled 1100 both ways, am I more impressed one way than the other?
Yeah.
I think I'm more impressed conventional. And that's from a, not so much a like, I know how hard both are, but I just think I have seen less of this.
Oh, that's fair.
So this one is more of an endangered species lift than this, to me.
The thou pull, if we all understand that multiply doesn't really help you a ton on sumo, I mean, it helps a little bit, but not much. I think it's 2 and 2. If we take out strongman, right? Because they got straps and shit, who knows what's going on? And they're on weird bars. I don't even know if they're on a fucking forklift or on a deadlift bar. I think it's 2 and 2 sumo and conventional that have ever been pulled 1,000 pounds in a competition.
But Dan Griggs and Jamal are also like not 300 pounds. So that's pretty impressive.
So that is.
And they're pulling out like RP.
I would actually agree with Nadeem in terms of the impressiveness, and maybe it's just based on what I've seen too. Sure, the 1,000 pound range is just a brand new shits. We don't know what's going on. But growing up and hosting and spotting and loading at all these meets where we literally had I think we had 4 over 900-pound pullers in the same thing. I think they're all conventional.
Yeah.
And I guess what I'm saying is, because I think how impressive something is also relative to body weight, right? So those guys that are 900 or 1,000 pullers that are conventional, those are probably 3x body weight pulls.
No, because I'm talking like the Pete Rubishes, the George Lehmans, even the Eric Lillebergs when he was 275, he was fucking jacked.
And he pulled
looked the same as Griggs. Yeah, I think he pulled 909.
Because Griggs and Jamal are like 4x body weight pulls, which is pretty fucking insane.
Yeah, I think Griggs and Jamal walk around about 250, 260.
Yeah.
And Eric Lilleberg at the time probably walked
300.
around. No, he probably I'm talking. He's like 17 years old, bro.
Oh.
Yeah, I think he probably walked around about 280, and he was pulling like 900 or 881. I'm not comparing these lifts being equal. I'm not doing that. But all I'm saying is that I grew up in a phase where big ass deadlifts were happening conventional as well. The Pete Rubishes, bro. There's just big people pulling big lifts, and they were all jacked.
They also back then weren't pulling on a kabuki bar.
It was a Texas deadlift bar. Yeah, well, that's the whole thing with strongman, dude. I literally, jokes aside, I don't know what bar Thor and them are pulling on.
An elephant bar.
Yeah, it's like a triple kabuki. Yeah. And so why are we comparing these things?
I would say
my point's the same as yours. I think that you think the exclusivity of it and the how much you see it makes it rare and cooler or better or not. I'm just saying I've seen a lot of fucking huge conventional pulls and a lot of like Dan Green was pulling high 8s, jacked and sumo. In my head, for some reason, they are kind of the same.
What I also do like seeing though is people that shatter the myth. So like shout outs to people like Deadlift Panda. Like he pulls I think like almost 8, right? And he's not like the biggest guy in the world. He's like maybe a 181 competitor.
Yeah.
But when you see his conventional, still 7 something for reps.
I think that's most guys, bro.
Yeah.
Jamal's pulling 940, 950 conventional.
Yeah. So a lot of these guys.
I don't know what Griggs does, but like.
I think people that don't know, they see it and they rule it out. But if you really follow people's training, people with strong sumos have strong conventionals.
Yeah, Jamal. Yeah, there's besides the extra lightweights. Again, going not to beat on the 120-pound people that are arching like crazy. They're the ones that probably can't close grip a lot. But yeah, you move Russ Swole's grip or John Hack's grip out a couple inches. That dude's still benching 550 plus. Yeah. And you take any dude that pulls 8, 9, a grand sumo, they're pulling 7, 8, 9 conventional.
Yeah.
And now we're talking about 10% differences.
Yeah.
We're literally, right? If you pull a 1,000 sumo and you pull 9 conventional, that's only a 10% change in that form.
Yeah.
They are kind of the same.
And what they're doing is this is my 2022 sumo weight. My conventional is my 2021 sumo weight. So it's like not that far behind.
Yeah, and what are they focusing on? Pulling sumo.
Yeah.
So who knows? Like if Jamal wanted to say fuck it and hypothetically sumo became illegal, that fool could pull 1,000 conventional. I
probably
have no
in 2023. He probably pulled 1,000 2023.
I have no doubts.
Yeah.
There is something to say though. I think everyone that can sumo can also conventional, but not every conventional puller can pull.
Sumo's
I think
hard,
it's a lot more common. Yeah.
Sumo's hard, dude.
Yeah, I think it's a lot more common for sure.
Except for these little TikTok kids that only pull sumo and they pull 800 but can't conventional 600.
Yeah, there are some people for sure
Yeah.
that are getting the extra wide stance, but their sumos are kind of ugly. You know what I mean? It's not like a very technical one. They're just literally taking advantage of levers, and they're not going to last long.
Yeah.
You lift like an idiot, you're going to get fucking beat up. Sorry, idiot lifters out there. Your views are appreciated too. Idiots are welcome here.
But do you hate sumo?
No, man.
You're
I
a really
don't know why.
good sumo puller too.
Yeah, my form used to be okay, but I'm not really made for that either. I like lifting weights, all these stuff, and obviously we're doing it for content, the hot takes. Man, I like more people with more barbells in their hands that are being nicer to each other, that are building community and culture, man. That's what I like. You want a sumo? You want a Jefferson fucking pull? I don't give a fuck. You know Jefferson pulls? Those motherfuckers pulling 900 too.
The one between the legs or behind the legs?
Between the legs.
Yeah.
Dude's pulling 900 that way. Crisscross applesauce.